What if I told you that the answer to your chronic inflammation, your sluggish metabolism, and even your heart health problems is sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now? It is not in a bottle of pills or some expensive supplement, but in something far more ancient and far more powerful. The Bible mentions seeds over 300 times, not as metaphors alone, but as actual food, as medicine, and as the foundation of life itself. And here is what most people miss. Modern science is now proving what Scripture has been saying for thousands of years. These seeds are not just nutritious, they are divinely designed healing agents. Before we dive deep into these 8 sacred seeds, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what you are about to learn could literally change your health trajectory. And if you find this information valuable, share it with someone you love. Let us spread this ancient wisdom together. So let us get started. From the tiny mustard seed that Jesus himself talked about to the pomegranate seeds embroidered on priestly garments, we are going to explore every sacred seed mentioned in Scripture and discover exactly how it heals your body today. In Matthew chapter 13, verse 31, Jesus tells us about the mustard seed. He says it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when planted it becomes the largest of garden plants. But here is what most sermons skip over. Why did Jesus choose this specific seed for his parable about faith? The mustard seed is not just small, it is powerful. Packed inside that tiny shell is an explosion of healing compounds that ancient people understood intuitively. They ground mustard seeds into poultices for joint pain. They mixed them with honey for respiratory infections. They knew something we are only now rediscovering in laboratories. Modern science shows us that mustard seeds are loaded with selenium and magnesium. These two minerals work together like a healing tag team in your body. Selenium is a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from oxidative damage. It supports your thyroid function and boosts your immune system. Magnesium, on the other hand, is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. It calms inflammation, relaxes muscles, and helps regulate your nervous system. But the real magic happens with something called glucosinolates. When you crush or chew mustard seeds, these compounds break down into isothiocyanates. And this is where it gets incredible. Studies from the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry show that these compounds have potent anti-inflammatory properties. I received an email last month from Sarah, a 62-year-old grandmother from Texas. She had been struggling with rheumatoid arthritis for 15 years. After adding just 1 teaspoon of ground mustard seeds to her morning smoothie for 3 months, she said her joint pain decreased by 70%. She could finally play with her grandchildren again without wincing in pain. These isothiocyanates reduce the symptoms of asthma by relaxing bronchial passages. They ease arthritis pain by calming inflamed joints. They even show promise in cancer research by helping to neutralize carcinogens before they can damage your DNA. Think about that. A seed so small you could lose it in the palm of your hand contains compounds that fight cancer, calm inflammation, and protect your respiratory system. Jesus was not just teaching about faith, he was pointing us to a seed that demonstrates God's design on the cellular level. In Psalm 147, verse 14, the psalmist writes that God satisfies us with the finest of wheat. Not just any wheat, the finest. And there is a massive difference between what the Bible calls wheat and what sits on most grocery store shelves today. Biblical wheat was not the hybridized, stripped-down version we call white flour. Ancient grains like incorn, emmer, and spelt were whole, nutrient-dense powerhouses. Every part of the kernel was consumed. The bran, the germ, the endosperm. Nothing was removed. Nothing was processed beyond grinding. And when you eat wheat the way God designed it, something beautiful happens in your body. The bran provides fiber that feeds your beneficial gut bacteria. The germ delivers vitamin E, B vitamins, and healthy fats. The endosperm gives you complex carbohydrates that release energy slowly and steadily throughout your day. But here is what blows my mind. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that people who consume whole ancient grains have significantly lower rates of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. Why? Because these grains contain something called resistant starch. This type of starch resists digestion in your small intestine and instead feeds the good bacteria in your colon. Those bacteria then produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and even influence your mood through the gut-brain axis. The B vitamins in whole wheat are crucial for your nervous system. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folate all work together to convert food into energy, support brain function, and maintain healthy red blood cells. When God called wheat the staff of life, he was not speaking poetically. He was describing a food so fundamentally important to human health that it literally sustains us on multiple levels. In the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 17, we read that Ruth gleaned barley in the fields of Boaz. Barley was the grain of the working class. It fueled laborers, soldiers, and everyone who needed sustained energy for physical work. The Roman gladiators were called hordearii, which means barley men, because they ate primarily barley to build strength and endurance. Ancient armies marched on barley. Why? Because this humble grain does something remarkable in your body. Barley contains beta-glucans, a type of soluble fiber that forms a gel in your digestive tract. This gel slows down the absorption of glucose, preventing blood sugar spikes and crashes. It also binds to cholesterol in your intestines and escorts it out of your body before it can enter your bloodstream. The research is stunning. A meta-analysis published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming just 3 grams of barley beta-glucans daily can reduce LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, by up to 10%. That is comparable to what some statin medications achieve, but without any side effects. But beta-glucans do even more. They activate your immune system. They bind to receptors on immune cells called macrophages, essentially waking them up and making them more effective at identifying and destroying pathogens. During cold and flu season, barley becomes not just food, but medicine. And here is something powerful for anyone dealing with metabolic syndrome or prediabetes. Barley has one of the lowest glycemic indexes of any grain. It releases glucose so slowly and steadily that your pancreas does not have to work overtime pumping out insulin. This protects your cells from developing insulin resistance. When Ruth gleaned barley in those ancient fields, she was not just gathering food for survival. She was harvesting one of the most medicinal grains God ever created. And the beautiful part is, you can buy organic whole barley at any grocery store and make a simple soup that delivers all these benefits. Deuteronomy 8 verse 8 describes the Promised Land as a place of wheat and barley, vines and fig trees, pomegranates, olive oil, and honey. Notice that figs made the list. They were not optional, they were essential. Now, most people think of the fig fruit, which is wonderful, but let us talk about what is inside. Those tiny crunchy seeds that give figs their unique texture are where the real healing happens. Fig seeds are loaded with prebiotic fiber. Prebiotics are different from probiotics. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves. Prebiotics are the food that feeds those good bacteria. And your gut bacteria do incredible things when they are well fed. They produce vitamins, they regulate your immune system, and they even manufacture neurotransmitters like serotonin that affect your mood. But here is where figs really shine. They contain an enzyme called phycin that helps break down proteins in your digestive tract. This makes figs a natural digestive aid, especially for people who struggle with bloating, gas, or incomplete digestion. Ancient physicians, including Pliny the Elder, recommended figs for constipation, and modern research backs this up. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that fig paste was as effective as conventional laxatives, but without the cramping or dependency issues. The seeds also contain omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in a nearly perfect ratio. These essential fats reduce inflammation in your gut lining, which is critical because an inflamed gut lining is the root cause of so many health problems. Leaky gut, autoimmune conditions, skin issues, and brain fog all start with gut inflammation. And here is something most doctors will not tell you. Healing your gut can reverse symptoms that have plagued you for years. Michael from Oregon wrote to me about his decade-long battle with irritable bowel syndrome. He tried every medication and every restrictive diet. Nothing worked until he started eating 3 dried figs every morning. Within 6 weeks, his bloating disappeared, his energy returned, and his life changed. When the Bible describes the Promised Land as a place with fig trees, It was not just about abundance, it was about health. It was about having access to food that keeps your digestive system clean, functional, and balanced. Your gut is your second brain. Feed it figs and watch your whole body respond. In Exodus 28, verse 33, God instructs Moses to decorate the hem of the high priest's robe with pomegranates, blue, purple, and scarlet pomegranates alternating with golden bells. Why would God choose pomegranates as part of the priestly garment? Because pomegranates are sacred. They represent life, abundance, and most importantly, protection. Inside every pomegranate are hundreds of tiny seeds, each surrounded by a jewel-like aril. And inside those arils is one of the most powerful antioxidants ever discovered, punicalagins. Punicalagins are unique to pomegranates. They are so powerful that studies show pomegranate juice has 3 times the antioxidant activity of red wine or green tea. And what do these antioxidants do? They protect your cardiovascular system. Research published in the American Journal of Cardiology demonstrates that drinking pomegranate juice can reduce systolic blood pressure by up to 12%. That is significant. High blood pressure is called the silent killer because it damages your arteries, heart, kidneys, and brain without symptoms until serious damage occurs. But pomegranates do not just lower blood pressure, they improve arterial function and reduce arterial plaque. A 3-year study showed that patients who drank pomegranate juice daily had a 30% reduction in carotid artery plaque, while the control group saw their plaque increase by 9%. Think about that reversal. We are not talking about slowing disease progression. We are talking about actually reversing damage that has already occurred. Linda, a 58-year-old nurse from Florida, shared her story with me. After her doctor warned her about blocked arteries and recommended surgery, she decided to try pomegranate seeds first. 1 cup daily for 18 months. Her follow-up scan showed significant plaque reduction. Her cardiologist called it remarkable. Pomegranate seeds also contain conjugated linolenic acid, known as punicic acid, which has anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. Studies show it can help regulate hormone balance, particularly in women dealing with PCOS or menopausal symptoms. When those pomegranates were embroidered on the priest's garment, they were not just decoration. They were a symbol of the protection God offers. Protection for your heart, protection for your vessels, and protection at the deepest cellular level. Proverbs 31 verse 13 describes the virtuous woman. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. Flax was not just for making linen, it was food, it was medicine, and it was woven into the fabric of biblical health. Flax seeds, also called linseed, are one of the oldest cultivated crops in human history, and there is a reason they have survived thousands of years. They are nutritional powerhouses. First, flax seeds are the richest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. While fish oil gets all the attention, plant-based omega-3s are incredibly important, especially for people who do not eat seafood. Your brain is 60% fat, and the type of fat you eat determines how well your brain functions. Omega-3 fatty acids improve cognitive function, reduce depression and anxiety, and protect against age-related cognitive decline. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that people with higher omega-3 intake had better memory, faster processing speed, and larger brain volume. But flax does something else remarkable. It contains lignans, which are phytoestrogens. Now, before you panic about plant estrogens, understand this. Lignans actually help balance your hormones. They bind to estrogen receptors and either block excess estrogen when you have too much or provide gentle estrogenic activity when you have too little. This makes flax incredibly helpful for women dealing with PMS, perimenopause, or menopause. It can reduce hot flashes, improve mood, and even lower the risk of hormone-related cancers like breast cancer. Research published in Clinical Cancer Research showed that women who consume flax seeds daily had slower growing tumors and increased cancer cell death compared to the control group. The lignans in flax literally change the tumor's environment, making it less hospitable to cancer cells. And for men, flax supports prostate health. The same lignans that help women also help reduce enlarged prostate and lower PSA levels. One study showed that men who consumed 30 grams of ground flax daily for 6 months had significantly improved urinary symptoms. When the Proverbs 31 woman worked with flax, She was not just making cloth, she was working with a plant that represented health, balance, and longevity. The key is grinding the seeds fresh because whole flax seeds pass through your digestive system undigested. Isaiah 65 verse 8 says, "As when juice is still found in a cluster of grapes, and people say, 'Do not destroy it,' there is still a blessing in it." Most people read that verse and think about wine, but the real blessing is not in the juice, it is in the seeds. For centuries, people discarded grape seeds as waste. They were hard, bitter, and seemingly useless. But scientists have now discovered that grape seeds contain some of the most powerful antioxidants on the planet, proanthocyanidins, or OPCs. OPCs are up to 50 times more powerful than vitamin E and 20 times more powerful than vitamin C as antioxidants. They cross the blood-brain barrier, which means they can protect your brain cells from oxidative damage. They strengthen capillary walls, which improves circulation and reduces varicose veins. They protect your skin from UV damage and premature aging. Think of them as internal sunscreen that also reverses existing damage. A study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that grapeseed extract significantly reduced oxidative stress markers in people with high cholesterol. Another study showed it improved blood flow to the retina, potentially protecting against age-related macular degeneration. But here is what really excites me. Grapeseed extract shows promise in metabolic health. Research indicates it can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce hemoglobin A1C in people with prediabetes. It works by protecting pancreatic beta cells, the cells that produce insulin, from oxidative damage. And for anyone dealing with chronic venous insufficiency, that heavy, achy feeling in your legs, grapeseed extract is a game changer. Multiple studies show it reduces swelling, pain, and heaviness by strengthening blood vessel walls and improving circulation. Jennifer, a flight attendant who stands for hours daily, told me that grapeseed extract changed her career. After years of painful leg swelling, 2 months of daily supplementation eliminated her symptoms. She could finally work full shifts without suffering. When Isaiah wrote about not destroying the grapes because there is still a blessing in them, he was speaking prophetically about something science would not discover for thousands of years. The seeds we thought were useless are actually where the most powerful healing compounds hide. In Matthew 23, verse 23, Jesus rebukes the Pharisees. "You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness." Jesus mentioned cumin specifically because it was valuable enough that people tithed it. These tiny seeds were worth their weight in silver. Why? Because cumin does something extraordinary in your body. Cumin seeds contain an active compound called cuminaldehyde that stimulates your digestive enzymes. This increases the secretion of bile, pancreatic enzymes, and saliva, which means you digest and absorb nutrients more efficiently. But the real breakthrough with cumin is metabolic. Multiple studies show that cumin can accelerate weight loss and improve body composition. One clinical trial found that women who consumed 3 grams of cumin powder daily lost 14.5 pounds in 3 months compared to just over 4 pounds in the control group. How does it work? Cumin increases your metabolic rate, it improves insulin sensitivity, it reduces inflammation, and it helps your body burn fat more efficiently, particularly visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs. Cumin is also rich in iron, making it valuable for anyone dealing with anemia or chronic fatigue. Just 1 tablespoon provides nearly 20% of your daily iron needs. For women who menstruate heavily or anyone recovering from illness, this is significant. And here is something powerful for anyone with diabetes. Research published in Complementary Therapies in Medicine showed that cumin supplementation significantly reduced fasting, blood glucose, and hemoglobin A1C levels. It works by improving insulin receptor sensitivity at the cellular level. When the Pharisees tithed their cumin, they were giving away something genuinely precious, a seed that could transform metabolism, improve digestion, and literally change how efficiently your body functions. Toast it lightly in a dry pan to release its aromatic oils, and your whole kitchen will smell like ancient medicine. So here is what we have learned. 8 seeds, 8 different healing properties, 8 divine prescriptions hidden in plain sight throughout Scripture. The mustard seed fights inflammation and protects your respiratory system. Wheat provides the foundation of sustained energy and nervous system health. Barley lowers cholesterol and stabilizes blood sugar. Fig seeds heal your digestive tract. Pomegranate protects your heart and reverses arterial damage. Flax balances hormones and protects your brain. Grape seeds fight aging and strengthen your blood vessels. And cumin sparks your metabolism and improves insulin sensitivity. These are not supplements. They are not medications. They are food, real, whole, biblically endorsed food that your body recognizes and responds to on a cellular level. Now, I want to challenge you. Do not just watch this video and move on with your day. Choose one seed, just one. Maybe it is the one that addresses your biggest health concern. Maybe it is the one that resonated most with you spiritually. Add it to your diet this week. Sprinkle ground flax on your morning oatmeal. Snack on pomegranate seeds in the afternoon. Cook with barley instead of white rice. Add cumin to your roasted vegetables. Blend mustard seeds into salad dressing. Stir fig paste into your yogurt. Choose organic grapeseed extract. Make ancient grain bread with real wheat. Start small. Start simple, but start today. Because here is the truth that modern medicine does not want you to know. Your body was designed to heal itself when given the right tools. God did not create you to be sick, dependent on pharmaceuticals, and constantly struggling with chronic disease. He created you for abundant life, and these seeds are part of that design. Remember, it is not about perfection, it is about progress. One seed, one day, one small step toward the health that God intended for you all along. He wrote the prescription thousands of years ago. Modern science is just now learning to read it. If this story of sacred seeds has changed the way you look at the healing power of nature, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are dedicated to unearthing the ancient wisdom and historical truths that have been overlooked for generations. Let us cultivate a healthier future together. The next treasure of knowledge will be revealed very soon. Until next time, remember your body is a temple. Treat it with the sacred foods God provided.